And just like that, we are back. This is the 4th and 1 podcast. I'm laughing at myself already. Coming to you live from Lancaster, Lidditz, and Williamstown, Pennsylvania. I always forget where you live, Robert. We're live everywhere you get your podcasts. 4th and 1 podcast. Go check us out on Instagram for Carrie's Picks. TikTok, 4th and 1 pod. It's been a day. It's been a week. It's been a month. And it's been a year. We're happy to be here. We're going to cover a lot of what happened over the past week. You can't see this, but I'm in my underwear, which means I went 0-4 in my picks. I wasn't anywhere close in any of them. UT Martin beat New Hampshire by 31 points. Akron lost by 8, won by 8 in overtime. Vandy, I think that was my closest one. I think Vandy was my closest one. No, that's not true. Sorry, UNC was my closest one. One of the flag plantings. We'll cover all of that and much more.
Hey, a couple questions for you. Well, first of all, everyone, if you were following and betting along with our picks, I hope that you bet Robert, because Robert made you equal amount of money. Robert, you finished 500, 23-23. I finished 2 games below 500, 22-24. And Simeon finished 6 games below 500, 20-26. Simeon, what do you think future generations will think of this video when you show them?
OMG, my dad was weird. Your dad was weird. Why do we hang out with you? You're not cool.
Okay.
It was pretty cold in the house that day.
It was. Listen, thank you, Russia, for your cold front that you got. You can see my nipples. I have my socks on for those of you who care. Therefore, it is not gay.
Yes.
So we are all set.
Well, are you just drinking out of like a wonton soup container?
So I got all of these for like food prep and stuff. And
cups.
They're just what do you call deli containers? And this is like the 32 ounce or like the quart one, and they're great cups. Like, I get why chefs drink out of them. So yes, I am. It is ice water. I need something. I need a W somewhere today, and it's going to be my water intake. Let's I don't know. Let's go over the news real quick. I'm trying to think of everything. I meant to get it down today. Right before the pod, obviously we're recording this on Tuesday like we normally do. Michigan fires their OC Kirk Campbell.
Yo, wait, really?
Oh, we didn't know this?
I did not.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about. Yes, Michigan fired offensive coordinator Kirk Campbell right before we started this.
No, we were talking about Robert and him getting numbing medication in his eye. So
let's go, dude.
No, I didn't know. Where do you see this? I'm not even seeing it on. Oh.
Yeah, that was the big news. Probably internal hires. They could. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. They could promote running backs coach Tony Alford, who was the Ohio State assistant head coach from 2015 to 2023. Ronnie Bellamede, highly unlikely wide receivers coach. He was the safeties coach in 2021. Grant Newsome was previously the tight ends coach. He has been the O-line coach this year. Steve Kaluza is the tight ends coach. He was the UMass offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach from 22 to 23. My guess is they're going to go outside the wire in order to get this one. It looks like Robert is reading this article as we speak.
Dog, I'm just trying to find the article.
Yeah, how on earth? Like,
just Google the dude's name. It's right there. It says
26 minutes ago, Moore announces leadership change to offensive staff.
So of the team who has exactly 0 passing over 40 yards, their running back is the leader in passing over 40 yards. We found out today. They big news, upset Ohio State. That's obviously the big news. Michigan. This is kind of an expected change-up. I know you guys are both reading right now and getting this information. We like doing things live here at the 4th and 1 podcast. I mean, this wasn't unexpected by either of you. I'm kind of expected it to happen so soon. They obviously have a bowl game they're going to play in. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I kind of said during the Ohio State game, they need to fire the OC. The play calling, and I don't know if it was just because of the limitations that Michigan had this year, but like there were so many times I was like, why are we running this? Why are we doing this? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's 3rd and 9, and we're trying to run out of the shotgun up the middle. Like, all of our passing patterns are 5-yard ins or like a mesh pattern. Like, it just, I don't know if, I'm sure a lot of it deals with the fact of not having like a decent quarterback or have faith in the quarterbacks, but it just seemed like we were so one-dimensional that it was like
I wonder how much this had to do with the Underwood signing as well, and kind of the style of offense that Sharon wants to run. I do kind of also feel like, so here's my take on it. Kirk Campbell, the Wolverines offense ranked 128th in total offense for 2024. That's out of 133 teams. And yes, you had limitations at quarterback, either whether you played Orgy or Warren. But as Robert said, like there were clearly things that if I were playing Michigan as a video game, I would call to help out my quarterback that just were not being done. And the first thing was not letting them get in 3rd and long situations. But I am also wondering if Sharon Moore is going to take back over play calling duties, or if the new offensive coordinator will have play calling duties as well, because Sharon Moore, after the bye week, before Northwestern and before Ohio State, said he was finally able to stop recruiting, stop being the CEO, and kind of get back into the film more, which you're not able to do as a head coach in college football, really. And you immediately, against Northwestern, 50 points. And against Ohio State, yes, at times it looked bad. But when the two crucial drives, it looked like a Sharon Moore type offensive drive. So I really do wonder if that's when Sharon is like, okay, we could be doing more. Kirk's not getting it done. So we got to find another way.
Man, if they just would have done this earlier, probably could have had Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another thing. Great transition, Robert. FSU hires Gus Malzahn in order to save Mike Norvell's job. I still wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired at the end of the season as the offensive coordinator after firing their offensive coordinator. I want to say like week 8 of the season. Gus Malzahn was fired from UCF. I think in the middle of the season, wasn't he this year?
Who?
No,
Malzahn?
Anybody? Gus Malzahn, or is he at the end
no,
of last year?
No, Malzahn resigned from UCF after their war on I-4 with USF, and then or whoever they played in week 12. I guess they're not in the same conference, so it's not the war on I-4, but that's the rivalry.
Oh, I see.
there.
So it was dropped back in. Great.
Yeah. So he basically pulled a Chip Kelly. He's probably tired of being a head coach, being the CEO, whatever, not really calling ball. So he's going to do that. But you're kind of right, Robert. Gus Malzahn loves to run the football. Now he struggles throwing the ball, but Michigan probably would have run for 1,000 yards next year.
And he has, he also has he's coached, what's his nuts too? Wasn't
Cam Newton?
Yeah.
He was Cam Newton's offensive coordinator, at Auburn.
If Bryce Underwood is kind of they're kind of referring him to kind of Cam Newton style playing, it's like, why not see if you could try and make that work where if that's something to incorporate. But, I'm sure Michigan will try and make the right choice, and we will show up next year and we will run between the tackles, and
it'll be inside zone.
It'll be
inside zone. And then it'll be Bryce try to go make a play on 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
You know how it'll be.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the available coaches who were fired, head coaches that you might want to take. That's who I was looking for. There's already been at least a dozen FBS firings, including. Did you guys Neil Brown was fired?
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that.
From where?
West Virginia.
Oh wow, he just got an extension too. Nah, it doesn't really surprise me.
Obviously, Ryan Walters went 1-11 with a absolute FU from Indiana loss this season. If they fought over a flag planting in Indiana, where was that game? Bloomington, wherever that was at West Lafayette. They deserved it, and they shouldn't have fought because they got effed, dude.
That's got to be one of the hardest jobs at Purdue.
Is Purdue?
Because who wants to go to for like, especially now that Indiana is starting to become like at least 1 year good. Like now you're Purdue. Like, what is the grab to bring someone to Purdue?
Well, it makes the Louisville coach. His name escapes me right now. Brom. It makes him look like a really good coach because I mean,
he saw the writing on the wall.
He was winning 7-8 games every year.
Yeah.
2 years in, I mean, Purdue's they were probably the worst team in the FBS. I know Southern Miss only had one win, but
Kennesaw State would have gave them a run for their money.
So I sent something in the chat about Purdue, and my money's on Kennesaw State in that matchup. I sent something in the chat about Purdue. I don't know if you both saw it, but it said that if you gave Purdue in every single game this season a 34-point lead to start the game, 34-0 right off the bat, they would have gone 6-6. That's how bad they were. 6-6. That means 6 losses were more than 34 points. That's crazy to me. But yeah, that firing definitely had to happen. 100%.
Yeah, just a few other. Obviously, Don Brown at UMass, so he can come back and play man-to-man if he wants to.
No.
Martindale gets fired.
Hey, okay, I'm with Robert on this. Wink Martindale can stay. I'm
actually okay with that.
Rob, I was bitching about the defense about a month ago, and I'm just like, this defense, and you're just like, one, I think that they're put on the field in tough situations because the offense can't do anything, and two, they're in the right place all the time. They just can't catch interceptions, and they're just not tackling in open space. And the last 2 weeks after the bye week, what did they do against Northwestern and Ohio State? They caught interceptions. Makari Page actually finally learned how to catch.
Yeah, who would have guessed it took him 13 weeks to play coverage football?
He learned how to cover a deep half and catch a football, and they learned how to tackle in space. And that's what they did against Ohio State, and it was glorious. It was magical. I'm going to defend Ryan Day for a hot minute against all the Ohio State fans, which make me sick. Why? I don't know why you guys want him fired. I really don't.
I don't know. Maybe because he can't win a big game and lost to a Michigan team that barely was 500.
Scenario though,
the loss on Saturday was bad. Yeah,
it is. Ohio State is at the point right now where we were with Michigan. 2019. Exactly. Where it was like, nope, this is Harbaugh's last year. If he can't get it done this year, and then COVID happened, or it might have been the 2020 to 21 season, whatever, where it was like, you were like, he was really starting to flirt with like the NFL, and like the money was all over the place, the contracts. So I could see why it's like, I understand, because now Ohio State knows how it feels, where it's like, you just can't beat this damn team, even though you're a 23 touchdown favorite and you're at your own place and you have players like Jack Sawyer crying like bitches on the field. But it's just like, they just know what it's like now.
Robert, did it feel like to you that Ryan Day was trying to prove a point in that game?
I think they were just, it seemed like they were trying to show that they could run the football. Yeah. Because we've been saying for how many weeks, Ohio State doesn't look like they have this big multi-million-dollar roster, but like Quinshon Judkins wasn't really running like he was at Ole Miss. Henderson's been consistent throughout the years, but like with this team, you were like, man, they should be like both 1,000-yard rushers, already, like 10 plus touchdown rushers already. But like they essentially were saying, we're going to run down Michigan's throat and there's nothing you can do to stop us. But the difference was Michigan stopped them time and time and time and time and time and time again. But I don't know. Like, did Ryan Day take over the play calling from Chip Kelly? Because if that's the case, that Chip Kelly was calling that offense the entire game, Chip Kelly might need to be fired because that was not good.
Well, the funny thing is they adjusted at the beginning of the second half. They came out, they started to drive the ball, they threw the ball well, and everybody's like, finally, because even the commentators, I don't remember who was commentating the game, even the commentators were saying, oh, it was
Gus Johnson.
Johnson.
That's another
Joel
topic.
And they were like,
We'll
finally, they're throwing the ball. This is the Michigan weak point. Is their secondary, is their cornerbacks, is their safeties. You're finally throwing the ball. That's who you line up best against. And they did that for like half of a drive and then ran the ball, and then their kicker missed a field goal.
Like right before the half, it was bang, 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 touchdown.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's kind of what everyone expected. Jeremiah Smith, like just doing his thing. But they just they're so fixated on running the ball. Like
that's what it really, and I know Joel Klatt mentioned this in the game, that they were trying, it was almost like they were trying to prove a point. And to me, in the first half, that's what it was. Ohio State, Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, they were trying to prove a point that they are bigger, they are tougher, and that comment that Lou Holtz made and then what Michigan had done to them the 3 previous seasons, they were going to return the favor. Instead of just winning the freaking football game, they were going to prove a point that they could run it down for 250 yards and they can be tougher than Michigan, right? Now, Michigan's 2 best players that day, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, didn't let that happen. Obviously, Michigan comes away. I think in the second half, Michigan had the ball of the fourth quarter 13 minutes in the fourth quarter. So they just ate up. But I think in the third quarter, it really became Ryan Day and Chip Kelly did not trust Will Howard to throw the football. After that second interception, they just did not trust him to throw the football, which is in a tough situation, which will take me back to Simeon. You should rejoin. Okay. Robert, so this takes me back to the beginning of the year in the offseason when I said Will Howard was a downgrade from Kyle McCord. And I'm just going to spin this into Kyle McCord was excellent on Saturday. He beat number 6 Miami, probably knocked Miami out of the playoff. We'll see tonight what we did. Kyle McCord threw for 380, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He only missed on 10 passes. Kyle McCord was excellent on Saturday. They ended up beating Miami 42-38 after they were down 21-0. And Robert sent in the chat, well, Miami just is not messing around with Syracuse. Looks like they messed around with Syracuse. But, yeah, I mean, Simeon, I was just saying that it would just appear to me in that third quarter that Chip Kelly and Ryan Day just stopped trusting Ryan Howard.
I heard you. You're good. My computer decided it wanted to update some drivers just randomly, even though I didn't tell it to. So you're good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then we got into Syracuse and Miami, and
I
that
heard.
upset.
Keep
Robert,
going. I can adjust.
Robert, let's talk about this. We don't know what the rankings will look like as it is Tuesday. Rankings come out in about an hour and a half or so. However, who should be out, who should be in? Let's just look at the top 25. All the dust is settled. We know conference champions have to play. Here's last week's rankings, and I'm just going to run down them. Simeon, you can play this game too, since you're naked.
I had to play. I played this game a little bit in my head. It's a tough one. I'm not going to lie.
Great. So, and I'm just going to assume, and let's play a game win or loss. So you have to kind of predict, like, either way, no matter the result of conference championship weekend, this team is in or not. Let's run down real quickly. Oregon. We'll start with an easy one.
Oh, yeah, they're staying one.
Oh, they're in.
Yeah.
They're in. Okay.
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah, they're in.
Okay. Excellent. Tejas. They are in the championship.
They're in.
Okay. Penn State.
They're in.
Because Notre Dame,
They're in.
exactly. Miami, not in the championship game. Now 2 losses.
If Clemson wins, they're out. If SMU wins, they're in.
Yeah, I could see that.
So then let me jump to the 2 ACC championship teams, SMU and Clemson. Let's start with SMU. They lose to Clemson. Are they still in?
I don't know. That's
No. I think they're going to obviously put the... I think they're going to put... I'm looking at it now.
well, that'll be your Big 12 champ goes in.
Yep. That's exactly where I'm at. I think the Big 12
And
will
then-
jump... Wait, does
SMU falls
Big 12 gets...
somewhere.
Big 12 gets automatic bid, though, right?
Not necessarily.
Not
It's
necessarily.
only the 5 highest ranked conference champions. But yes, at this point, the Americans out. I mean, the Americans out. So, yeah. Because Tulane lost Friday night.
Because your Big 10
To Army?
more or Oregon or Penn State
Oh, no, to Memphis. Sorry.
probably going to be number 1.
Yeah.
Texas and Texas, Georgia.
Yeah.
That's your SEC champs. That 1 or 2. Either way, you flip those.
Georgia
So
loses, has 3 losses. Are
No.
they in?
No. There should be absolutely no team that has 3 losses that gets to.
Oh, I think Georgia's going to get in even if they lose to Texas on Saturday.
What'll happen is if Georgia gets in, Georgia will get in at 12 if they lose. Which
and then have to play Notre Dame.
yeah. Because then your ACC champ would be your next highest. So if SMU wins, then they would be your 3 seed. Boise State would be your 4. If SMU loses, then Boise State would move. I would move Boise State to the 3 seed, and then your 4 seed would probably be who is it? Arizona State and Iowa State. Or
Yeah.
so even if Clemson wins, they would still be out, not out of the playoffs, but out of the top 4 because your Big 12 would jump to that 4 spot. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then your conference champions, let's just say it's Oregon, it's Texas.
Does Clemson have 3 losses? Sorry, I'm looking...
Yes,
okay,
they do
so
now.
They do
now.
now. This is a week behind. Okay,
last
this is
week's.
horrible. Let me look at the AP.
So let's just say it's SMU, it's Oregon, it's Texas, and it's Boise State, right? That's your 4. Your 5th, then let's just say it's Arizona State because they're real hot right now. So they would jump in and probably be that 12 seed depending on where they rank. I mean, they did dismantle Arizona on Sunday. So that leaves at the at-larges of Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Indiana, and then, Robert, you're saying no 3-loss team. I think they'll still let in a 3-loss Georgia based on their quality of their losses. And now you're trying to make an argument for that last seed, which would either be Alabama, Ole Miss, or South Carolina.
I don't think Alabama should be in.
I agree with you.
It's
No, you'd put South Carolina...
Doesn't make sense.
No offense. Well, no, complete offense. Go fuck yourself. No, South Carolina over Alabama.
All right.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying no offense. No, Alabama, your losses suck. South Carolina's wins and losses look better than Alabama's record. If we're talking strength of schedule, since we have to talk strength of schedule, South Carolina's wins were better than Alabama's wins. And the AP has them at 13, and I mean, I don't want to get too far into this because people are going to know by the time the podcast comes out who's doing what. But I think the only 3-loss team that has a chance of getting in my head, is South Carolina. And they still might put Miami in over. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't love that Ohio State's...
The thing with Miami, for me, is the eye test. Like, their eye test, defensively especially, just does not meet it for me. Like, if they get put in against any team... That team's going to score 35, and then let's say they play Tennessee. Tennessee's going to hold them to like 17.
Here's the issue with...
It's going to be 35-17.
With Miami, too, Micaiah, Robert, sorry.
No, you're good.
If, let's say, Indiana, and Indiana would be the home seed in that game, Miami's going to have a hard time playing. We saw it this weekend with Miami at Buffalo. Miami's going to have a hard time. And sorry, that's the professional Miami versus Buffalo, not the college Miami versus Buffalo. You're going to lose the game because these kids aren't going to be able to play in the cold.
Robert's been asking for that for years. He wants to see that 12 seed Georgia have to go play in 30-degree Notre Dame. Like, that's what he wants. He wants an SEC team to have to go to the Horseshoe, to go to Happy Valley, to go outside and have to play outside. I mean, of the teams who would not get a first round bye, like right now, so Tennessee, currently as it's ranked, and I'm basing it on the AP, Georgia would have a bye game, Tennessee would have a bye game, or a home game, excuse me. Ohio State and SMU would all have home games, right? So that leads
minds to be blown.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'm on CBS.
Yep.
Here is their projection of who is going to be where. So your Big Ten champion, Oregon, sitting at number 1. Texas winning the SEC, number 2. Number 3, ACC champion, SMU. Number 4, the Group of 5 champion, Boise State.
Yep.
Now, number 5, Notre Dame versus number 12, Arizona State.
Okay.
So that I would assume would be your Big 12 champ.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Number 6, Penn State versus number 11, Alabama.
See, that
would piss me off.
I know, but that's the game that you want. You want the Alabama kids to go to Happy Valley. By the time this game gets played, it's going to be a high of 27 degrees in the mountains.
Yes.
A high of 27. That'll be an excellent environment game.
It's just the fact that Alabama is the most undeserving team to literally be in the position they're in because ESPN and the committee love the SEC, and it's just BS.
Hey, listen, going on the road in the SEC is the hardest thing to do.
No, the hardest thing to do is watch SEC football when it's just garbage.
No. The hardest thing to do is try to watch Michigan complete a forward pass.
They really took it back to those Field Yost days, man.
We can complete a pass, just not anything further than
unless
5.
your name is Donovan. Okay.
Whenever Davis Warren would roll out, I was like, please don't throw an interception. Please don't throw an interception. Please don't. Hey,
I don't know why. I don't know why he tried. Like, why do you keep doing it? You kept designing plays. He couldn't throw the ball when he rolled out of the pocket. Stop rolling him out of the pocket.
Number 7, Georgia versus number 10, Indiana.
That would be a home game for Georgia, though, correct?
Georgia. Yeah.
And a demolishing by Georgia.
Yes, 100%. And then number 8, Ohio State versus number 9, Tennessee.
That would be a matchup.
That would be the best game in that slate, besides that Alabama-Penn State game.
However, Ryan Day better win that game.
If not, he's fired.
Holy crap.
So the winner of that one would go and play number 1, Oregon. So it's like, we're going to get a rematch of that we should have had, but Michigan went and beat Ohio State. Like, that's the story then.
So Reese Davis has brought up this point. He says, stop giving the top 5 ranked conference champions should get an automatic bid to the dance. However, they should rank them like the rankings come out, whoever, 1, 2, 3. That's how the top 4 get a bye, no matter if it's 3 from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 4 from the, Big 12, whatever. Like, because now in this situation, Oregon, who's the number 1 team in the country, instead of getting who would have to face Tennessee or Ohio State. Meanwhile, Notre Dame in this situation, which would be 5, who would they would get Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Easier matchup, I would say. And then after that, I don't know who would be after that, but after that, they would get the
4.
They would get the 4 seed. Yeah. So and that would be
travel to Boise.
And that would be Boise State. No, and that's on a neutral site because that's neutral site in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Oh, what I want to
So it's
give to
almost-
see playoff football in Boise, Idaho, though.
That would be awesome.
I would love
So
that.
it's almost like Boise State. Even though they're in such a good position, they're also just in such a terrible position.
Yeah.
Because they don't really get a home game.
However, the winner of
Unless it's in, like,
the winner of the Mountain West
Los Angeles or something.
on Friday night between Boise and UNLV are almost guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff because the American is not good.
How long? Where?
Yeah, they'd be 12.
Where are
Yeah.
we at in the podcast? Sorry, I had to start over. How many? What minute mark are we at?
We're
30.
at 30
All right,
minutes.
perfect.
30
Let's-
minutes.
Let's talk about last week. Let's just take a
Okay.
second. I know we should totally transition into talking about next week. We spent way too much time on something that the fans will already know by the time we get to when
True.
this comes out. Okay, let's go over all the rivalries, the big ones, the ones that matter. Obviously, Michigan beats Ohio State by having a better kicker than Ohio State does.
Amen,
What,
brother.
early?
Why were
Yep.
you making that face? You're making a face.
Oh, because they put Oregon Penn State on 8 p.m. on CBS.
There's a reason they bought the media deal. Oregon
Well, Big Ten's always that
did
late,
beat
though.
Washington in that rivalry that everyone always forgot about until they joined the Big Ten. 49-21. Dillian Gabriel threw for 209 yards. So good for them. Penn State took down Maryland. Not a rivalry game, but important because it was 44-7. Texas A&M. That was kind of a win-and-you're-in situation. Arch Manning was the reason that Texas A&M had 7 points. Isn't it? Wasn't that a pick six?
No, it was Quinn.
I thought that was Arch Manning who threw that.
No.
Oh,
No, it was
I missed
Quinn.
that. Those two dudes look very similar in my head for some reason when they have their helmets on.
This game though was a Texas flexing their muscle. That's what that was.
defensively,
Yeah,
jeez.
Texas might be you know what I'm gonna say. Texas has the best defense in the country. I'm just gonna say it right now.
That defense is
It's really good.
when they want to show up.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
like the defense that played Georgia in the first half didn't show up. Defense that showed up against Georgia in the second half, totally different. Texas has been a different defensive ball club since then.
Texas A&M had 248 total
Yikes.
yards, 102 yards rushing. Like Texas just dominated the game back to front. Robert, to your point, the game against Georgia, though, yes, they let up 16 fourth quarter points, but also Quinn Ewers and Georgia's defensive line also decided to show up at that game as well. But most consistent defense this year has been the Texas Longhorns, that's for sure.
Oh, Michigan also was flag planting numero uno on the day. Sorry, I have to go back because I forgot the Egg Bowl was on Friday. The Egg Bowl. Ole Miss took down Mississippi State. Not an issue for them. The oldest rivalry trophy, Minnesota walloped Wisconsin. Dude, we all thought that Luke Fickle,
Yep. You got it.
hire was going to be good for Wisconsin. What is good? Also, PJ Fleck keeps winning games so he can keep his job when it doesn't matter. So, good job, PJ.
Row that boat.
Row the boat.
Row it.
What is going on in Wisconsin? Does anybody know? Is that just a quarterback? Like they need a? Is that Miller Moss's new landing place?
They're trying to make Wisconsin an air raid system, but Wisconsin's never been an air raid system.
Yeah.
They've always been as true to their Big Ten smash mouth between the tackles, and I think that's just. I don't know if it's another one. How do you get people to go to Wisconsin?
It's the only Division I program in the state.
You get 3 and 4 stars and you develop them, but in this era of NIL, that's going to be really hard. But no, Robert, when he originally hired Phil Longo from North Carolina in Luke Fickle's first season to run like an air raid, a power run air raid system, a power air raid, I think is what the video game would call it. Both you and me were like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, yes, he was trying to make it more quarterback friendly, but clearly it's not working.
And because didn't they also? Wasn't he a transfer from SMU?
Yeah,
They
I mean,
also him in too, and we were like, I guess they're gonna try and make it Tanner Mordecai.
Tanner Mordecai, but then he graduated, and now it's no one. Simeon, clean old fashioned hate. That game was like 9 hours long, but worth the 9 hours.
It was.
Definitely.
You're talking about Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that was a Christopher Nolan director's cut, and that was all sorts of awesome. However,
Heinz King was both the rushing and passing leader for that game.
Hey, anyone else hate the new college overtime with the trading 2-point conversions?
I don't mind it. I agree with you. I don't like that they have to switch fields. Pick one.
Yeah. Literally stay on one end of the field for the 2-point conversion.
If you're going to do a 2-point conversion,
just
do the 2-point conversion.
And we don't need commercials. We can wrap up overtime in like 10 minutes.
I like the college rules. Now, if you had to trade touchdowns and then go for 2, that one would kind of be more interesting to me. But it is what it is.
You should get 4 downs from the 10. That's what they should do instead of trading 2-point conversions.
Actually, we should just go field goal kicker from field goal kicker and back up 10 yards after every kick.
Starting where? At 40 yards?
Yep. You're kicking. I mean,
day and age.
Imagine you are trying. Now you are literally having to recruit the best kickers ever just in case you have to start kicking 60-yard field goals for the win.
So what happens
like Michigan's kicker?
Is it a free kick? Like, is there no one there?
No, you have to get rushed.
No, under pressure.
Under pressure. So let me ask you this. So they both make 40, you back up to 50. They both make 50, you back up to 60. They both mix at 60. Then do you just stay at 60 or do you move it in 5 yards?
I would move it up. I would move it up 5. No. But by moving it up 5, I'd flip a coin. And if you win, you choose what hash you want it on because you're not kicking straight on. You're kicking from the hash.
If you miss,
okay.
If you lose it, the defense picks which way they want to, which way you want to.
There you go.
What if you get 3 shots and then you move up 5 yards?
That might be a TV issue at that point.
That's fair. Let's see. Sorry, what else happened? Technically, Boise State, Oregon State was a rivalry game we didn't care about. Nebraska, Iowa. What happened to Dylan Raiola? Robert.
Well, you know what happens is Matt Rule gets in the way, and Dylan Raiola just decides, you know, it would be really swell if I just forget how to pass the damn ball.
If I just start throwing it to the other team.
Yeah. I mean, he started off so good, and I was like, dude, this kid, man, he's it. And then it was like, just kidding.
So they did hire Dana Holgerson as OC, 2-year contract extension, $1.2 million this year. They made that official. He did take over the play calling last 3 weeks, I think. So he must have seen what he liked. Robert, my other thing is what bothers me the most about Nebraska is they started so well. 5-1. Yes, they lost to Illinois, but then they get their breaks beaten off at Indiana. Then they go to Ohio State and they lose every Nebraska way. Then they lose to UCLA, who's awful, 5-7. Then they lose to USC. USC couldn't beat a fly off of a horse's ass at the end of the year. So I don't know how that happened. Then they finally beat Wisconsin. So it started out, okay, this is new. This is a new Nebraska. But then it just fell into same old Nebraska.
Well, and it's only fitting that almost every single one of their games, except the Indiana game, 1-score losses. 1-score losses.
Oh, my goodness. It's
literally the same Scott Frost scenarios.
I didn't even realize that until you said something.
5 points, 7 points, 8 points, 3 points. Again, they are 1 possession away from either being a 1-loss team or a 2-loss team, and we're sitting here at 6-5 or whatever they are.
6-6.
6-6.
I gotta tell you something. So last week, 2 weeks ago, I commented we were talking about Florida, and I posted a clip on TikTok, and I said that Florida, if Florida beats Florida State, they'll be 6-6. That's all I said. I misspoke. They were 6-5 at the time. So if they beat Florida State, which they did, they are now 7-5. I misspoke. I said 6-6, but I didn't even realize it. And I posted a clip on TikTok. That clip went viral, hella viral, couple thousand people, mid-thousand.
That's viral.
Hundreds
for us.
of comments, and every single comment was 7-5, 7-5, 7-5. You're dumbass. It's 7-5. You can't calculate 7-5. I'm like, oh my! Welcome to the internet, everybody.
Oh,
you
that's awesome.
misspeak. It's not like I said that they would go 6-6 and really they're 10-2 or whatever.
Right.
No, I was off by a game. I apologize.
Gotta love it. Notre Dame beat up USC. Well, I shouldn't say beat up, but
legitimately.
Fun fact about USC, not so fun fact. So Michigan's collective has $200 million. Yes, that's on the lighter side. I'm sure if you compare it to the SEC schools, USC's collective, with how good that they've been and all the alumni, is $18 million. Lincoln Riley's buyout right now is $90 million. His team really hasn't gotten better. His backup left tackle is 6'2", 290 pounds. Like, Lincoln Riley has himself in some hot water.
Well, Miller Moss, that's the big news. He will be the number one transfer target this season. That was his starting quarterback.
He can't even get the kids to stay in, because I was listening to Con Cowherd's podcast. He can't even get the LA kids to stay in LA. That's your number one job.
I think that's his biggest issue. I think LA's shininess and sexiness has gone down the drain.
Well, it's. I think a lot of it is your kid. Like, the kids are looking at it and getting huge NIL deals, like, to go to USC, and they're quickly realizing, man, if I get a $20 million NIL to play for USC, I'm losing 3/4 of that right off the bat in taxes. Where you could get the same deal and go to some other state and only lose a quarter of it.
Texas, Florida, no state tax.
And lose, and you lose like a quarter to none. So it's like it's slowly turning into, not only are the schools not being able to kind of dish out the money appropriately, but now they're running into, like, the state themselves is like, you guys have money, we want it.
Also, Lincoln Riley will fire his whole defensive staff, but has not made any offensive staff changes, especially to the O-line coach. Defense was much improved, but something's got to change there in the land of angels, I think, for him to really start.
Including the North Dakota State guy?
He was another coach that was born on third base, right? Bob Stoops handed him a key to a Ferrari Lamborghini in Oklahoma, and he kind of just rode that. And his best years was still with Bob Stoops' recruits, especially on the offensive line.
So you mean we have someone who can't recruit, but has very high accolades, but then it just kind of isn't working out? Man!
But he's not winning 85% of his games, though.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Day's winning a lot of games.
Let's go over. Tennessee obviously beat up on Vandy. That game, I needed them to do something.
Hey, it started 14-0 for you, bud. Couldn't have started better.
Couldn't have started better for me. I thought Vanderbilt needs to build a culture, and hopefully they'll do it for their sake.
After their stadium.
They're bowl bound.
They're bowl bound.
They're getting better.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, their quarterback, who's their personality, is going to leave. You can hope. Their head coach did nothing before he showed up, and his offensive coordinator shows up. Who knows if his offensive coordinator is going to stick around? So he could get hired somewhere. So we'll see. This might have been. I think this is probably a flash in the pan. I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, we already said Indiana did not let Purdue score a single point. 66. I thought they were trying for triple digits. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought Indiana.
They could have gotten it easily.
That was that game, and what the very brief moments I watched of it was tough to watch.
Yeah.
Purdue, I'm praying for you, because you need to get back to upsetting one team in October.
They lost to an FCS school. They won 0 games. They beat.
The
only game they beat was an FCS school. They lost all their other ones. They fired their head coach. They're back to square one. Somehow Northwestern has more hope than Purdue does, and that's saying something. South Carolina played more Beamer ball at Clemson. Upset Clemson. I don't know much what else to say other than Clemson. I think this was your last chance
For sure. Also, the fact that at this point, Lenore Sellers is running the football. And I've never seen a quarterback this hard to tackle. Clemson had him dead to rights, and this isn't for he did it against Texas A&M. Every time I watch Lenore Sellers, he does this. He's rolling out, whatever, pocket collapses, they got him. Nope. There he goes, 40 yards down the field. It was 3rd and 16, 1:18 left, down 4. 3rd and 16, like I said. Clemson rushes, gets out of their lanes, and it was a QB draw the whole way. They literally just told their receivers just run into the end zone and take the coverage because Lenore Sellers is just going to sit back, let the coverage go, and then just take off up the field. Like, he only threw for $164, 13 of 21, and 1 interception. So his arm is not going to hurt you, but yet these teams cannot get Lenore Sellers on the ground. It's really a credit to Lenore Sellers. He is quite fantastic.
Iron Bowl. Peyton Thorne, 301. Rushing, that he was the passing leader. Only scored 14 points. Jalen Milroe, rushing leader, 104 yards on the ground.
Yeah, didn't have to do too much. Got her down.
Well, there's a direct correlation with Alabama. Alabama wins when Jalen Milroe runs. And if Jalen Milroe doesn't run, Alabama is in very tight waters. So if you notice halfway through it's halftime and Milroe only has 20 yards, probably bet some money that...
Start betting the money line on not Alabama. That's what he's saying.
Arizona State was not technically the second flag plant of the day, but was a flag plant.
It was a trident.
A trident plant.
Actually. By a former Arizona Wildcat that transferred to Arizona State.
That's hilarious. Also, like, the trident plant is their whole thing. Illinois almost lost to Northwestern at Wrigley. That's technically a rivalry game. Forgot. My bad, bro. UConn beat UMass by 5 points. Shout out. New England.
Hey, 8 wins for UConn this year.
Let's go.
Come on.
Hey, yeah.
That's big.
That is huge.
Actually,
After
I'll give them a round of applause.
No one would have said that.
Louisiana beat Louisiana Monroe. No comment, just stating facts. Western Michigan beat Eastern Michigan. As I continue to scroll and try to find the other rivalry games that I care about.
Florida demolished Florida State.
How has Mike Norvell not been fired yet? And they just hired him an offensive coordinator, so they're not going to fire him.
Right. They gave him an extension last year, and here's how it typically goes, Simeon. So he did have 10 wins, and then he had the undefeated season last year, right? And then they lost to Georgia because Jordan Travis was injured, and they all sat out, right? So then you come back, and you had a mass exodus of talent just like Michigan did. So you rebuild with the transfer portal, and it just starts falling apart week 1, Georgia Tech in Ireland. Everything falls apart on you. She went downstairs, Robert, if that's what you're doing.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Everything falls apart. So the next thing to do is blame the coordinators, to which he fired the coordinators, all of them. And then next year, if it's still not up to expectations in Tallahassee, then he gets fired. Coordinators always go first, then he gets fired. Just like next year. If the offense still sucks with Sharon Moore hiring this new offensive coordinator, guess who's gone? Probably Sharon Moore. So this is a 1-year turnaround thing. Like, no one has any more patience anymore, which is kind of fine because the fans, better for the fans and they like it or whatever. But no one's going to have any patience. You better figure this thing out. I also think that Mike Norvell hired Gus Malzahn to be that CEO and to basically say, you run the offense. I trust you to run the offense, ground and pound, fix our running game, fix our offensive line. I need to oversee the whole program because he's calling the plays currently, and that's just not working out.
We're going to see if Stanford is doing the reverse of that, hired Andrew Luck as their GM to kind of be the CEO.
I think that's a great hire.
We'll probably cover that a little bit more in the offseason. The last rivalry game and the last flag plant, or technically the second to last flag plant of the day, UNC losing by 5. That was my final loss of the day to NC State after leading for most of the game. I thought that was a lock. In Mac Brown's farewell address, dude, go retire. You should have forever ago. Oh, I'm sorry. Vatek beat you technically by 20 points. That's important. All right. My transition sound effect didn't play. There's my transition sound effect. We got championship week. There it is. The reason I am here, and you can see my nipples. I hit the wrong button. We got games on Friday. We got games on Saturday. The whole thing lined up for you. I'm trying to pull them up because I'd like to talk about all of them because I think they're all interesting, but my computer decided to be dumb. Also, by the way, while it's pulling up, you know who's out of a job and could be an offensive coordinator? You're going to love this.
Which one, Rich Rodriguez?
20. No, he's not out of a job. 2014 Ohio State offensive coordinator, my man from UT Austin, Tom Herman.
Oh, all right, great. Let's not get him. Okay,
just
let's not
They're
get
gonna
him.
do it.
Oh, and if Rich Rodriguez does get fired, which he won't, because Jacksonville State is playing Western Kentucky in the Conference USA championship.
That was the play and
game.
end game, wasn't it? For Western Kentucky.
I don't want him back at Michigan either. Okay.
However, there is a very popular coach who is kind of the leading rumor mill for West Virginia already.
Rich Rodriguez. Rich Rodriguez. Oh,
no,
well,
even better.
he could come back.
Made a bunch of money doing nothing.
Shaquille O'Neal.
No.
I mean, but yes.
Yes. Florida State.
Jimbo
Jimbo
in the Big 12.
They wouldn't even have to pay him.
Right.
They'd be like,
slam dunk.
$5? $5? You want to come fix this? Texas A&M still paying you, right?
Yeah.
The 12th man booster foundation, whatever it's called.
What is Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky? I'm getting this back on track. We're almost done.
However, Rich Rodriguez could come back to West Virginia with his success at Jacksonville State.
Allegedly, he could. Yeah. Jacksonville State's.
You heard it here first. First one podcast.
Favorites.
Not
this was a win and in situation. This is the Sun Belt, right? I'm not.
For both of them. No, this is Conference
USA. Okay, my bad. This was a win for both of them. So this game is at Jacksonville in Alabama. Jacksonville, Alabama, not Jacksonville, Florida. Any comments on the game whatsoever? It was a win for both of them, and they're in.
I don't know anything about these
That's
teams.
Fine. Go Hilltoppers.
Go Hilltoppers, because I love their mascot.
And they have great uniforms.
He's definitely related to what is that? Gritty? What is the purple? Grimace.
Grimace.
Yes.
Yeah, you could do Grimace. You could do Gritty. Grimace.
He's in that family.
Yeah.
They're in that family. Okay. The big one that we actually care about on Friday night is Boise. Is UNLV going up north to Boise? Boise's only a 4-point favorite right now. This is 8 p.m. on Fox.
This screams upset to me only because if Ashton Genty has a big night, he could probably win the Heisman. Boise is finally going to get in the playoff, finally going to get their shot after all those years in the BCS and them being 3 and missing a field goal, all those, 2-3 straight years that they almost missed the national championship game. They're finally going to, it just all seems too perfect. And in walks Vegas. Again, it's Genty. However, when I watched on Black Friday, Boise versus whoever they played on
Oregon State.
Maddox Madsen, their quarterback, very efficient. He's thrown for 2,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was just really good. When they don't have Ashton Genty going, he can kind of carry the offense a little bit. However, UNLV has that go-go offense that it likes to run the football a lot. So I'm expecting an accelerated game. I would go with the under of 58.5 because The UNLV is 4th in the nation in rushing yards with 254. And Boise, they should be 1st, I would think. They are 6th. I guess Ashton's season isn't getting there. So this is going to be a quick kind of clock running game because both teams like to run it. So I would take the under in this scenario. Robert?
Oh.
I just like Boise State. I think that they've played once before, and I think it was a last second kind of score for Boise State when it was at UNLV. So now that it's being played at Boise, outside, probably going to snow. It going to be cold. And I just think Genty's going to be too much for him.
Oh, they did play.
Yeah,
already
29-24.
All right, well, I got to take UNLV because my thing is it's hard to beat a team twice in a season.
Excuse me. Yeah. It is hard to beat a team twice in the season. Should be an interesting game. I'm not going to comment on it. I don't really care. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the Ollie Gordon situation, guys. It's who I thought Ollie Gordon was going to be. If Boise State wants to win the game, what did they do, Micaiah?
They turned it around and gave it to Ollie Gordon.
They turned it around and handed it to Austin Genty.
Listen, that did,
I didn't know
because
who
you said that
about.
they're watch. You said that they're going to throw the ball.
Dude, they just read it
They're
out.
not going to run it. Yeah, Genty runs 3 times.
It's a shame that Tulane lost on Friday too to Memphis as 14.5-point favorites because Tulane also had a shot to make the college football playoff over the Big 12 champion, and now Tulane Army is probably going to be unranked on ABC. However, from West Point, and I love
Shout
that.
out.
In front of the Cadets, so I
Tulane's
really like
only
that.
a 5-point favorite, over under 45.5. I would take the over on that. I don't know why. That's just the vibe I'm going. And since I'm naked, don't listen to me.
Number 1 defense in the country.
They're probably just assuming that Army is literally going to take the air out of the ball and do, America's work and God's work and kill an hour.
I mean, listen,
of your life.
It's a Friday night in December. It's worth killing an hour just watching that
This
game.
might be a 4-possession game. Army will get it one time. Tulane gets it one time. Halftime. Army gets it one time. Tulane gets it one time.
Tulane needs to figure out how to fill their stadium and kind of build a brand down there in New Orleans with the way that everything's shifting in college football.
They could be a big
Step
powerhouse.
number 1, join the SEC.
I'm not joking. Freaking trigger that clause. Like,
that is the first thing they should do.
Basement dwell in the SEC for like 5 to 7 years, and you'll be fine.
LSU would have a conniption.
I would love every second of it. I sent you guys a video.
And it would work. Your stadiums would sell out, not because you're good or because anyone's coming to see you, but they're going to want to come and see Texas.
Yeah,
they're going to want to see LS. They're going to come see the other guys.
It's a Vanderbilt situation.
Yeah, and then you just progressively get better.
Except Tulane has had enough success that they'd be able to recruit guys because they'd be in the SEC, unlike Vandy, who just didn't care until last year, I guess. Moving over to Saturday, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Cheapest ticket you can get is a 12 p.m. game. It's at Ford Field in Detroit. It's the perpetual basement dwellers now. It's Ohio at Miami, but they're both in Michigan. Very confusing for everybody. Long travel. These are 2 South Ohio teams.
Give me the Bobcats.
Yeah, just because of Curtis Rourke.
Give me Miami.
Yeah,
the Red Hawks.
Me Bobby.
Miami is
favored
favored
the Red Hawks
by 2.5 points. Another team that's only favored by 2 points. We're going to Arlington, Texas, in Jerry World. Maybe they'll close the curtains for this game. It is a 12 after all.
Probably not.
Iowa State takes on Arizona State. This is a must-win for Arizona State, right?
It's a must-win for both.
Both.
Well,
win and you're in. This is a win and in college football playoff situation.
That is because of
maybe. It's a win and 55-60% in.
Count the conference champions that will get in. They're 5. Big 12's 5. They might be 12. They might be seeded 12. They might not get a first round bye.
Right, but there's not a guarantee. Like it's not a win and in. It's a win and a good possibility you're going to get in because they might not get in. If Iowa State wins, the probability of them actually getting in is kind of low compared to Arizona State.
Well, I think if Iowa
State wins, it's better for them because they're 16. They can move ahead further.
Maybe I'm doing my math wrong. 5 conference champions get in no matter what, right?
No.
4 conference champions get in no matter what.
4 no matter what.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
4 no matter what. Yes, you 100% cannot have a Big 12 champion.
No, it's 5 no matter what.
No.
Guys, it's the 5 highest ranked conference champions get an automatic bid. The top 4 get an automatic bye.
No.
Yes.
Hold the F on. We will settle this. Talk about Marshall's 2 overtime win in order for them to get in, and UN and the Raging Cajuns are back after Billy Napier while I figure this out. And if you don't want to talk about that, go a little bit further north and talk about Texas at Georgia.
Go a little bit further north. I don't know much about the Thundering Herd or the Raging Cajuns. Thundering Herd have won their last 5. Louisiana has won 4 out of 5 here. Marshall, double overtime thriller versus JMU. Robert, do you know much about these teams at all?
Nope.
Okay, great. Who you got? Louisiana's a 5.5 point favorite.
Say it again.
Louisiana.
Say it again.
Raging Cajuns.
Louisiana is a 5.5 point favorite to Marshall.
That is kind of tough. I think. Give me Louisiana.
Don't hate it. That game is in the South. It's not in Huntington. Guaranteed bid for the top 5 conference champions in CFP rankings. Now, technically, for the top 5 conference champions in the CFP rankings. So technically, no, Micaiah, because Boise could be. You could technically have, if Tulane won, technically, Tulane as the American champion. I'm
anticipating Tulane being unranked. You are correct.
I'm saying technically the Big 12 could be out. It is not the Power 4 or the Power 5 teams that are getting it.
Technically. But you have the SEC will get one. The Big 10 will get one. The ACC will get one. The
Mountain West will get one.
The Mountain West will get one. That's 4.
And then the Big 12 will get one.
Big 12's getting one. So
maybe.
So the winner of this game is getting an automatic bid.
Yes.
Maybe.
Who else? Who's going to be the 5th conference champion?
Here's the thing.
Who's going to be the
definitely going to be Miami
if Tulane
of Ohio.
wins.
But if Tulane's unranked,
they're not going to drop Tulane. I get that they're 17 now. They're not going to drop them.
I'm going off of like their rank is now.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going off of the AP having them at 17.
Okay.
And Iowa State at 18, Arizona at 16.
Okay.
Probably when they actually release the college football playoff, Iowa State and Arizona State are probably going to be a lot lower, I would imagine.
And Tulane will probably be like 20-something, sure.
Maybe. Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But going off of this right now, if Tulane wins, they could technically get in over the Big 12 over Iowa State, but not Arizona State.
I see what you say. I see what you're saying.
That's where I was going.
Okay, I do understand that. I'm just saying now with Tulane's loss, I think that they might be out now. Okay. Unfortunately,
probably
because that would have made Friday night very interesting. Because then Tulane would have had to win against Army and look really good to jump maybe an Arizona State against an Iowa State sort of deal.
Right.
If you look at the current rankings. So
let's jump. Those are all the non-neutral site games. Let's jump over to Atlanta real quick. Georgia,
ATL
home game as the away team to number 3 Texas. Rematch of week 4, week 5, something like that.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to the line of scrimmage just like it did in Austin when they played. Georgia's defensive line showed up in that game and made a statement and really kind of rattled both Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers in that game. And then Texas's defense kind of rebounded in the second half and got things together. And Texas sort of stabilized things. And then Texas went on and Georgia went on. And now we're here. So it's going to be the defensive line. Which defensive line can control the game? My thing is, again, it's hard to beat a team twice in the season. Texas is going to be motivated. I feel better currently about the state of the University of Texas football than I do about the University of Georgia football, just with how they're playing. Give me Texas minus the 2.5 to beat Georgia. And according to Robert, and I would agree, that's Georgia's 3 losses. I think that pushes them to a bubble and maybe even a road game in the first round.
Yeah. Texas, to me, looks not like the no-brain pick, but just when you watch Georgia play the way they play, you're like, this team is just begging to get beat. And I think Texas is going to remember what happened before, and I think they take control of the game and bring that SEC champion back for the first time. Deep. And I also think they need to get out of Atlanta, Georgia. It is annoying. They need to go somewhere else for the championship game.
Yeah, they should go like to Birmingham or something. I think that'd be fun. Deep in the heart of ATL, Atlanta. Another team, brand new to their conference, kind of carrying their conference, if I do say. It is SMU. This game is in Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte. Of all the neutral site games, this is a fun fact for you, which isn't that many. This is the only one that is outdoors. 2.5 points is the separation. Also, another fun fact for you, the largest spread here is 5 points, and that's Tulane Army. The average spread here is about, I'll call it 2.7.
How is Oregon only a 3.5 point favorite to Penn State?
That's not the game we were going to talk about, but that's okay.
Well, you just said that, and I was like, well, that can't be right. Oregon's got to be more than a 5.5 point favorite to Penn State. Are you kidding me? Well,
I'm assuming that is like it's going to be mostly Penn State fans in that stadium.
Hey, here's one for you: Penn State money line.
No.
You're just gonna sit there. You're gonna watch this game at 8 p.m. and you're gonna go, damn it, how did they do it?
Yep. Sure.
And the only reason they're there is because of Michigan. So every Penn State fan who's gonna sit there going, "Ooh, we won the Big Ten championship," you're only there because Michigan put you there.
You're
if
welcome.
Michigan didn't put you there, we would have lost to Ohio State. But we said no.
Simeon, back to SMU, Clemson. Real simple. Clemson or SMU's defense is a really good defense that people don't pay attention to. Not really good, but good. Their offense, they're 6th in points, 4 on the season. They run the ball and they pass the ball really well. Kevin Jennings has just transformed this offense since he took over early on in the season. Clemson is 2 up and down. I feel like the Mustangs have finally found kind of what their team is this year and is just riding along and is kind of in that confidence, cruise control mode. Give me the Mustangs to upset Clemson, right? Oh, no, they're favored. So give me the Mustangs. Give me the Mustangs to beat Clemson.
Yeah, SMU's been playing really good ball.
Yeah.
And Clemson is... Who would have guessed this is where we would be at the end of the year with Clemson? After what we saw week 1 or 0, whatever, against Georgia, we were like, man, Clemson was not there. To turn around, and now they're in the ACC championship. I just don't think they have it in them. I think SMU's going to come out with a lot of firepower.
Also, give me the under in this game. 2 good defenses. Clemson's got a good defense. Give me the under as well of 56.5. Yeah. That's 2 under so far. I'm taking.
Clemson definitely has some battle in them. That's for sure. We'll do picks here in a second. Last game that we need to talk about, because honestly, that Penn State Oregon one we might whisper on. Micaiah, I texted your wife if you could somehow acquiesce her to the basement. That would be amaze balls.
Hey, Carrie, you're being acquiesced to the
I don't think
basement.
I
He
used
wants you to
that
make your
word
picks on the
correctly.
pod.
I don't think you did either. I don't even know what that word is.
It's used in Pirates of the Caribbean, okay? So it's got to be right.
Oh, I forgot. I'm not up to date on my Pirates of the Caribbean,
Okay,
Micaiah.
and you claim I don't watch any movies? Come on,
Dog,
dude.
I watched that movie probably 7 years ago.
Okay, well, like it's a good one. You got to
Yeah, I'm not
rewatch
saying
that.
it's bad. I'm just saying. I got other movies to watch that you're not watching.
All right. You know what? Maybe you should just watch more Pirates, okay?
Oh, I got to watch more Pirates.
I don't even know how you would spell acquiesce.
So you're taking Penn State, Rob. I'm taking Oregon, and I think it's Oregon minus 3.5. Penn State barely covered all year, and now you're asking them to do the opposite as underdogs cover. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think they're going to slow the game down.
Yeah.
They're going to
Could be
do
right.
exactly what Michigan did to Ohio State. Slowed the game down, controlled the clock, controlled the line of scrimmage, and they just get shit lucky, okay?
Acquiesce.
Better quarterback between Gabriel and Aller.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
I think he's
That's kind of
improved
easy.
the
That's
most
just,
over
I'm rolling
the
with the better
season.
quarterback.
He's a good pick for this.
Oh, what? Acquiesce.
Acquiesce.
Will Howard or Davis Warren.
That's fair. Fair point.
Exactly.
Fair point.
I'll pick Aller.
I
Accept
concede the
something
point.
reluctantly, but without protest. So I actually would like her to acquiesce downstairs.
Yeah, well, that's what she's about to do. She's about to come down
we
here.
got one more game to
and-
cover. Don't pick them yet, boys. We're trying to cover stuff here. The game is in Arlington. We didn't talk about it. Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, I'm sorry. We already talked about Iowa State, so this is perfect. Ladies and gentlemen,
just sit there.
you
We have one
asked
more
for
game
it.
to
No,
talk
we
about.
didn't. She can come in now.
No, we don't.
You asked for it.
We're good.
We brought her.
Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. You are
Yeah.
on. Sorry, we're not talking about the game.
Carrie,
Give me Iowa State, by the way.
Carrie.
You've been
Yeah,
asking
let's
for it.
go.
Answer that.
Chanting. Wait, why does Simeon not have a shirt on?
Because this
Exactly.
is the podcast because he lost, so he has to do it in his underwear.
The dumb challenge
Yeah.
where he just has to sit there shirtless and he could still have pants
Right.
on.
No,
Right,
I
we
don't
need to
have
be
pants
closer
on.
to the
I'm
mic.
not going to...
Am I supposed to do
I
something?
will
Let's
prove
see
the
it.
point.
No, just make it. Oh, okay.
Ow!
There you go. I proved the point.
Number 7,043 that I've seen Simeon's underwear.
Carrie has weirdly seen my underwear a lot.
Yeah, weirdly, that's
All
the
right,
right
Carrie,
word.
it's championship weekend. Can you ask Micaiah if your picks are up to date in the doc?
Are my picks up to date in the doc?
Are your picks up to date in the doc? No, they're not.
No,
I
we
don't-
didn't look at this week's picks
I don't know
yet.
what you did this past week.
No, they
Okay.
are not.
So let's assume even if you
But
went
she's still very good
500,
at
you
it.
picked 5 games, you went 41-24 by last week, so you would have gone at worst 41-29, which is I'm not doing quick math, but it's like 66-ish%. You got 2/3 of them correct, and as of I went 20-26, 10 out of 10 job, good
Thank you.
job. We give the people what they want here. We'll get you in and out.
But I see him clapping, so I'm just gonna
We'll
clap.
get you in and out of your. We got 6 games on Saturdays, 3 games on Friday. The games on Friday again. I'll have Robert pick, and then you can pick.
Okay.
Right after. So these are all championships. So in the Conference USA champion, again, Robert, this is probably gonna be real quick for you. Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State. Who you got?
Western Kentucky.
He got the Hilltopsers. Jacksonville State, 3.5-point favorites. Carrie, don't know how you picked this. Over under is 57.5. It's in Jacksonville, Alabama at 7 p.m. Who you got?
Oh. Let's go Jacksonville.
Jacksonville State. She's taking the favorites, ladies and gentlemen. Probably why she won so many.
That's how you win.
The big one in Boise, Idaho, 8 p.m. on Fox. Boise's a 4-point favorite. They're taking on UNLV, who is currently a ranked team. Shout out Running Rebs. Robert.
Give me the ponies.
The Ponies. The Broncos up in Boise, Idaho. Carrie.
Boise State.
Boise State. Smart. I'm
Ashton for Heisman.
What?
He's their running back.
Okay.
I'm also taking Western Kentucky. I'm probably going to be wrong. Also, Boise State, Ashton Genty. Micaiah took UNLV in an upset. That is now, it is decided. The last game, 8 p.m., ABC at West Point. It's Tulane at Army. Tulane is the largest favorite, 5-point favorite. Over-unders 45. That is a South team taking on a North team. Robert, who you got?
Give me the Cadets out of Army.
I don't hate that because it's so cold. I think they're due for an upset here. Give me the Cadets as well. Carrie, who you got?
Sounds like I'm copying, but I was going to go with
Oh,
Army.
we love it. It's a sweep of the board.
Good pick. Good pick.
Which means Tulane's going to win that game. All right, 12
Yeah,
p.m.
probably.
ABC. ABC has 4 of the championship games this year. So Saturday afternoon, Iowa State, a winning you're in scenario for them. This game's in Arlington. Jerry World carry for if you care about this. Arizona State is a 2-point favorite. I don't know, Robert. I don't know who I'm picking here.
I'm just gonna go with the Sun Devils.
They've been on
The boys from
they've
Tempe.
been on a hot streak. Iowa State has been upset, but they've been on and off. I think it's going to be a close game, but give me Arizona State as well.
Let's go with Iowa State. Mix it up.
Iowa State. Carrie's calling the upset. Over-under is 50.5. Okay, we're going up to Detroit, Ohio, Miami. Robert, you picked Miami in this.
Miami.
Give me Miami of Ohio. By the way, we're in the MAC, Carrie. That's not Miami, Florida. That's Miami of Ohio.
I got it. Yeah.
Who you got in Ford Field?
Let's go with Miami.
Miami of Ohio, the
Let's
Red
go.
Hawks. Micaiah took Ohio,
Get out of
which
here.
is you're wearing Ohio green, Carrie.
That's true.
So
Okay.
I'll let the Bobcats in the comments come after you. We're gonna go down south, 4 p.m. in ATL. It's the home game that is an away game for Georgia's takes on Texas. Robert, you had Texas in this game, right?
Yep, give Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns. Give me Texas as well. Carrie, who you got?
Let's go for an upset. Let's see if Georgia can pull out
that
a win.
would be an upset. You are correct. Back-to-back upset. Will Kirby Smart rise his team to the occasion? Carrie thinks so. Marshall
Maybe.
in Lafayette, Louisiana, taking on the Ragin' Cajuns. Robert, who did you pick?
I feel like I took Louisiana, so we're gonna go Ragin'.
They are 5.5-point favorite. This is the largest spread. Give me the Thundering Herd just to be different.
Oh.
Carrie.
I'd say let's go Louisiana.
Let's go the Ragin' Cajuns
No, Simeon went with
of
it.
Louisiana. Micaiah.
Do the opposite of whatever Simeon picks.
My guy says to do the opposite of whatever you pick, Simeon.
Listen,
so.
there's a reason I'm not wearing a shirt right now.
Definitely a winning formula.
You're not wrong. All right, we're going to
Safe
Lucas Oil
bet.
Stadium, Indianapolis. Oregon's a 3.5-point favorite over Penn State. They are the home team. Robert, you picked the upset here, didn't you?
Yes, give me
Oh.
Penn State.
This is a hard one for me. I feel like Penn State could surprise us, but we only had one really good Franklining that happened this year. Give me another one that's going to happen. Give me Oregon to win this game. Carrie.
Yeah, Oregon. Let's
I
go
think
Ducks.
that's her easiest slam dunk in my opinion. That game's CBS. Also,
Go
only
Ducks.
$16 if you guys want to, pop away this weekend.
Only 16.
If you want to go watch that game. All right, last game of the night, other 8 p.m. on ABC. We're in Bank of America Stadium. Again, the only outdoor venue of the Big Five, or the Power Four now, as I call them. Clemson at SMU. SMU is a 2.5-point favorite. This is basically a home game for Clemson. But I think SMU just has what it's going to take. I'm not sure about Clemson. It's going to be a close one. So give me Clemson plus 2.5, but SMU to win.
Give me them red ponies.
Yeah, SMU.
And that's all I need from Carrie. Do you know Micaiah's
Okay.
line, Carrie, that he always says at the end of the podcast?
Wash your hands, you filthy animals.
We'll see you next.
That one?
We'll see you next week.
I did it. Come on, they're ending it.
Wash your hands, you filthy animals. Bye.